Hey you guys, it's MJ and welcome back to Pet Adventures again. So I've had a lot of people in my life in general ask if ball pythons and snakes in general make good pets. And the answer is, for the most part, yes. But it really depends on how much you know about them and also how much time you're willing to put into them. Although they do not require a lot of time, they're going to be with you for 20 years. At least. So there should be some things that you gotta tolerate. So first of all, you have to find out what kind of snake you want and what you're kind of looking for. If you're looking for the most docile, sweetest kinds of snakes on earth, it's definitely what I have here, which is a ball python. As you guys already know Phoenix, but yeah, many people don't know how sweet they really are. Many people don't know that their main defense mechanism is just to crawl up into a ball instead of actually biting you. So the answer is yes, ball pythons make great pets. Corn snakes make good pets, but there are snakes out there, obviously, that are venomous that can actually kill you. And the expectations of keeping a snake at all is that it will eat their dog or eat their cat, when in reality, even at a full-grown size, if you were to keep a ball python, it's quite frankly the other way around. It is most likely the dog or the cat that would actually eat your pet snake. So I would obviously recommend having a ball python just because I know what they're like. I've spent a lot of time around corn snakes and ball pythons, but mostly ball pythons since I actually have one here. You know, I would definitely say just go out and get one. If you're not sure about it, spend some time with them. That's actually what I did. I spent a lot of time with them, going to the pet stores to hold them, kind of see what it's like. And then eventually I got my first job where there were so many snakes in general that I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, I couldn't believe how many I was interacting with on pretty much a daily basis. And so it stands that I can't just tell you that they make great pets and then that's it. I do have to prove it to you, and usually what I like to tell people is just the educational background, and that is that these guys, even at their full-grown size, royalty would wear them all the time in Africa, which is why they are called the royal python originally, and people are really wooed out by that. They're like, ooh, what? And of course you always want to let people interact with them. As you can see here, he does not want to do anything except for go the other way whenever I touch him. Every time I touch his face, he just doesn't seem to really care. His main little thing here is not to actually bite me, but to just turn the other way. And that being said, even if you do get bit by these guys, and yes, I have been bit by bigger ones than him and smaller ones, and overall I would say personally that the bite doesn't really hurt. I have been bit by, the worst bite I've ever gotten in my life was by something called a tokay gecko. That was the worst bite I have ever had. I even took a picture of it and it was terrible. So as that stands, a lizard is able to hurt me more than a ball python would. The next thing that makes them really great pets is they are not expensive. They eat on average, once a week to every other week. My boy here eats every other week, and he's already, I think, about 2 years old or so. One of the downfalls is you do have to feed them rats and mice. If you are not comfortable with that, there is absolutely no way of getting around this. That being said, you can feed them the frozen. I feed mine the frozen. It is actually easier to feed them the frozen anyways. You don't have to monitor them quite as much as you would if they were able to, if you were feeding them like the live, because of course we all know that, well, all my snake lovers out there will know that rats and mice can actually hurt snakes. If you don't believe me, I mean, you can look up pictures of it, and I've actually seen it happen myself. One time I was feeding one of the snakes that was a little bit more hesitant at the shop I used to work at, and the mouse ripped off the snake's skin, and it was really, really sad, and it was really, really sad. So if you want to avoid that, just feed them the dead. It's easier for you and it's easier for them. Of course, you know, they do have to do these things in the wild. You have to remember that animals can react a little bit differently in the wild than they do in captivity. So that is actually why I'm guessing in the wild that they're probably much better at it. What also is great is you don't have to get a necessarily large, expensive enclosure. You can if you want, but you don't have to. Right now, as you guys have seen in my latest, one of my latest videos, is they can actually live in tubs. Mine is in a fairly largish tub for his size. And they can be in tubs for basically their whole life if you want, or they can be in tanks their whole life. If you want something that is going to have keep a little bit more humidity in the area, that would have to be tubs. Professional breeders actually use tubs. So that's what makes them so easy. And like I said, they're very, 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 very not prone to biting. Also, what makes ball pythons wonderful pets is you can basically take them anywhere. Yes, anywhere. You can take them around, you can take them on your neck, your hand, whatever you want. You can go shopping with them at the stores. You can even hide them in your jacket or whatever if you go to a store that's not a pet store. I've done it. He's been in my bra for a very long time at one point. He was just in there. Nobody even knew I had a snake with me. Adding to that, ball pythons actually don't mind being handled. They kind of just chill on you as if you were a tree, and they don't mind it. That's what's great about them. You can just handle them for a little while, and it'll be completely fine. They are very shy snakes, but once you get their trust, of course, even with a snake, you have to get its trust before you can start bonding with it. I have bonded with Phoenix, as you can see, and the only reason why people freak out when I do things like that is because they just don't know anything about ball pythons. But once you get to know a lot of different things about ball pythons, a lot of the great things, you tend to just not be very scared of them. The majority of them are like this. Every now and then, very rarely, you will find an aggressive ball python, or more likely a defensive ball python. Also, what's really cool about ball pythons is usually you can stick another ball python in with another and they don't act out in aggression. I've never really seen ball pythons fight. I don't even know if that's a thing. It could be, but I rarely see that happen. So that's what's really cool about them. Also, what's cool about ball pythons is the amount of morphs that they come in. Morphs are just another word for their colors and patterns that they can come in. And there are literally endless morphs that they come in. New morphs are being made every day by different people, and they are just so cool. Why are they also great snakes? Also because they at maximum will get 5 feet. I have a male here, most likely he'll be 3 feet, maybe 4 feet. I don't think he'll exceed any more than that, but what's really cool about them is they get 5 feet, so it's big enough to wow a certain crowd or whatever, but it's not big enough to ever really kill you. Something that's not so great is they like to do this. Yeah, he's hooked on there, and now I'm gonna have to work out of that. Another great thing about them is they can be a little good scarf for the winter, as you can see. Also, what's really great is they only eat maximum once a week, so you'll only be cleaning the cage when needed. So very, very rarely. They also don't need any special crazy amount of heat. All they need is a good heat mat. I would recommend hooking up to a thermostat. Sometimes you can regulate the temperature by getting it to go higher or lower, and also I would recommend getting like little thermometers in there to kind of see what's up with the temperatures. I do use a regular little laser thermometer to kind of check. I do that about usually once a day. I do that and point to the heat mat to check what temperature is going on in there, but a heat mat is really all that's needed, and he's about to go in the fish tank. I don't know if they can swim. I'm guessing they probably could, but who knows. What's really cool about them is, I think I already mentioned this, but also they're going to be with you practically forever. They live up to 20, even 30 years depending on how well you keep them. So you will be keeping these little companions for quite a long time, so count on it being with you. Tying into that, I would also say that they don't get sick very often. Really, I've had him for a while now. He's about 2 years old, and I've never really had him get sick. Not once. Also, the bedding for them can be very, 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 very simple. It's as simple as paper towel if you want it to be that way. Yes, paper towel, newspaper. There are, of course, a lot of different other beddings you can use, but that's the simplest one. So if you want to go your cheapest, they're your snake. And the amount of things that you can do with them are endless. You can watch Netflix with them, you can go to the store with them, as I said. You can pretty much even work out with them, you know, as long as you're doing maybe a very light jog. Just kidding, I don't really recommend that, but that would be quite funny to see. There are, of course, lots of other things that make them great pets. Overall, they're very, very sweet. You can do just about anything with them. You can walk around the house with them, whatever. They're very docile, chill, sweet snakes, and they do get big enough to wow a whole crowd there. So, please excuse me, I don't even know what I'm talking about half the time. They're wonderful snakes. I encourage anybody and everybody to get a ball python. They are wonderful. I have never regretted even a little bit having a ball python. I remember that when I was getting into reptiles, one of my dream ones was a ball python here. BPs for short. BPs are really wonderful, and please let me know if you got one after this. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. Leave a comment down below letting me know if you got a ball python after this, if you have a ball python now, and also you can let me know what is your favorite thing about ball pythons. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Also, don't forget my live stream's coming up. I'll have the latest date for my next live stream here, and I'll see you guys later. Bye! Of course you would get hooked onto that. I am not surprised. Why do you do this to me? Huh?
You